Shalom, everyone. I'm Natan Fenner. I'm one of the rabbis at the Bay Area Jewish Healing Center. Glad to be here with you, with Sammy Feld and Melissa Emmett from the COVID Grief Network, with Opera Greenspan, who's also from the Bay Area Jewish Healing Center, managing our tech today, and with Molly Block, who is our closed captioner for today. Before we proceed, I want to let people know that we are recording this Azkarah as a resource for the future. Feel free to take yourself off video or off camera if you want to participate without your face appearing in the recording. And on behalf of all of us, I want to welcome you. We welcome you all at this time of lengthening nights during the holiday season and the closing weeks of the calendar year. We welcome you if this is your first Azkarah, or if you have been with us in past months. We welcome you if you are mourning global deaths and collective losses, and if you are mourning one or more personal losses, whether those deaths were more recent or from long ago. If you are mourning any or all of these, you are welcome here. If you are largely alone with your grief, or you have regular and good company in your mourning, you are welcome here. Whether you identify as Jewish or not, read Hebrew or not, whether or not you have ever been in a Jewish ritual space before, or anything in between, you are welcome here. We are grateful to be here with you to share this space for grief and reflection, and perhaps comfort together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Sammy, and I, along with Melissa, am one of the co-founders of the COVID Grief Network. We are so honored to be here today, co-hosting this Azkarah service. And we know from both of our personal experiences with loss at a young age, and from our work with the COVID Grief Network, that this time of year can be complicated and it can be difficult for those grieving loved ones. And we're really grateful to Abra, Rabbi Natan, and the Bay Area Jewish Healing Center for inviting us to be part of this service to create space for remembrance and connection and healing. COVID Grief Network first connected with the Bay Area Jewish Healing Center about a year or so ago when participating in their morning conference, which explored different modalities for grief care. And we're really humbled to be in partnership for this service here tonight. And so as we begin, I wanted to just take a moment to share some background on the COVID Grief Network, who we are, and how you can connect with us if you or someone you know could benefit from our offerings. So for some of the backstory, back in April 2020, a group of folks, including Melissa and myself, working in the mental health or spiritual care or community organizing spaces. Many of us, folks who had lost loved ones as young people ourselves, we launched the COVID Grief Network in response to the pandemic. And we founded CGN as a mutual aid network, specifically connecting young adults in their 20s and 30s who had lost a loved one to COVID, to volunteers who were willing and able to provide free grief support services, while also connecting young adults in the network to one another. And today, our model is primarily focused on group-based grief support. So we offer virtual support groups that meet weekly for 8 weeks on Zoom, led by a volunteer group facilitator. And we typically launch 2 to 4 new support groups a month, while also offering additional programming such as drop-in group spaces and events such as this service here today to help build community and connection. And now we have nearly 700 young adults in the network spanning 44 states in the US and 25 countries, and an absolutely incredible cohort of volunteers who provide grief support. Some of these volunteers we are lucky to have here today to help facilitate part of our evening. And that's going to be when we will break out into some smaller groups for some small group connection. And so big thanks to Anne, to Amy, to Elise, and to Catherine, who are joining us from our volunteer cohort. One common question that we get is why the focus on 20s and 30s? It's a really good question because we know that loss can be devastating for anyone at any age. But CGN is specifically geared towards young adults because we've found from our own lived experiences that grief in young adulthood can sometimes come with its own unique isolation, and we want to help undo that isolation. We've found through some of our personal experiences that grief support services that are geared towards young adults, those folks in their 20s and 30s, can be more scarce compared to support that's available for older adults and children. And we've also found that for many young adults, we're in the first in our peer group to lose someone close, and that can lead to an added sense of isolation. So that's just a bit of the background about who we are and what we're doing. And if you want to learn more, if you want to connect with CGN, or learn about our support groups, get involved, you can visit our website at covidgriefnetwork.org. And so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Melissa to lead us in an opening ritual.
Thanks, Sammy. Welcome. I'm going to invite everybody to join me as we do just a short breathing and grounding exercise. And so as we find ourselves here in this space together on this Hanukkah evening, I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you, to really feel yourself in the room, wherever you are. We have people from all over the country, and so Just really notice where you are. Notice your feet on the ground. Take a deep breath in and then release it. Notice your calves and your shins, and notice your thighs. Notice how it feels to sit on a chair or a couch or a cushion, wherever you are. Notice your back leaning against this chair, this couch. Notice what it feels like to be supported. Now take a deep breath and then release. Notice whatever is coming up for you in this moment. You don't need to cling to anything or push anything away. Just notice. Your only job is to notice and to experience what it is that you're experiencing. Now take a minute and we're just going to breathe. We'll do some deep breaths in and deep breaths out. We can do a 4-second breath in and then hold for 4 seconds and then release for 4 seconds. In, hold, release. If anything's coming up for you, that's okay. Just let it go. And keep noticing your breath. Noticing your feet on the ground, the chair supporting you. Any feelings that might be coming up, letting them be present and then letting them go. Notice your breath. And just let yourself be. And you can start bringing yourself back. Notice your feet wiggling if you want, and your fingers wiggling if you want. You can roll your head, and you can open your eyes when you're ready. And if you don't feel ready yet, that's okay, because I'll bring us back with a short poem. And so this poem is called, and we'll have it up on the screen too, so you can read along. But this poem is called When Will I Be Myself Again by Rabbi Louis John Aaron. When will I be myself again? Some Tuesday, perhaps, in the late afternoon, sitting quietly with a cup of tea and a cookie. Or Wednesday, same time or later. You will stir from a nap and see her. You will pick up the phone to call her. You will hear her voice, unexpected advice, and maybe argue. You will not be frightened. You will not be sad. You will not be alone, not alone at all. And your tears will warm you. But not today, and not tomorrow, and not tomorrow's tomorrow. But someday, some Tuesday, late in the afternoon, sitting quietly with a cup of tea and a cookie, and you will be yourself again. And now I invite you all back, and we'll we'll go on to our next activity. Sammy, what's next?
Thanks, Melissa, for that wonderful grounding and centering opening. So I'm going to transition us on to the next part of the service tonight, where we're going to have an opportunity to come together and connect and share with one another. We've found that remembering those who have died can be a way to hold our loved ones close, and sharing stories of who those loved ones were and how they touched our lives can at times bring comfort. So we're going to take some time now in small groups where everyone is invited to share who we are and what brings us to this Azkarah service tonight. Each group is going to be facilitated by one of our amazing volunteers with the COVID Grief Network, who is going to just walk us through some ground rules, and we'll spend about 20 minutes together in our small groups. And just want to remind everyone that there is no pressure to speak, and just showing up and just having your presence is enough. So thank you for being here. During the breakouts, we're going to keep the main room open for some silent reflection time. If you'd prefer to hop back to the main room and not participate in the group session, that is an option for you. And at the end of the 20 minutes in the breakouts, you will be brought back to the main room again, and you'll see a 2-minute warning before that. And then a couple other reminders. There will be one breakout group that will have closed captioning. Thank you so much, Molly. And that will be for folks who indicated on the event RSVP that you'd like closed captioning. So thank you again. And with that, Abra is going to bring us into our groups.
I guess this is our group.
Mary, I'll move you and Amy and Linda in just a moment.
So sorry. Yeah.
Not a problem. Okay, that should be Linda and Mary. You should have received invitations.
Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you. So as we come back into this room after being with our small little groups, we have another poetry activity. And so we haven't done this in this space before. And so we're going to try it out. And so what we'll do is we're going to create our own poem using Mary Oliver's Starlings in Winter. And so what I'll do is I'll read it through once, and you can just sit and listen. You don't need to do anything. And then we'll go through again. And if there's any line that really resonates with you, put it in the chat. And then we'll create a poem together with wherever we're at, wherever our grief is at, whoever we're remembering, and whatever line resonates. And we'll see what we can create together. And so I'll start just with reading it. So Starlings in Winter, chunky and noisy, but with stars in their black feathers, they spring from the telephone wire, and instantly they are acrobats. In the freezing wind, and now in the theater of air, they swing over buildings, dipping and rising. They float like one stippled star that opens, becomes for a moment fragmented, then closes again, and you watch and you try, but you simply can't imagine how they do it, with no articulated instruction, no pause, only the silent confirmation that they are this notable thing. This wheel of many parts that can rise and spin over and over again, full of gorgeous life. Ah, world, what lessons you prepare for us, even in the leafless winter, even in the ashy city. I am thinking now of grief and of getting past it. I feel my boots trying to leave the ground. I feel my heart pumping hard. I want to think again of dangerous and noble things. I want to be light and frolicsome. I want to be improbable, beautiful, and afraid of nothing, as though I had wings. And so now we'll go through it again a second time, and I encourage you to put a line that really resonated with you in the chat. And so I'll only read now what's in the chat as we go through it the second time, and we'll go page by page. Light and frolicsome over and over again. Stars in their feathers, dipping and rising. Instantly, they are acrobats. Becomes for a moment fragmented. Only the silent confirmation that they are this notable thing. They swing over buildings. You simply can't imagine. Full of gorgeous life. Only the silent confirmation they are that they are this notable thing. No articulated instruction. I want to be light and frolicsome. Closes again, pumping hard, even in the leafless winter. I feel my heart. Afraid, as though I had wings. I want. Grief and getting past it, as though I had wings. I want, I want, I want. Afraid of nothing. I am thinking now of grief. Of nothing. Ah, world, what lessons you prepare us for. The leafless winter. The ashy city. I want to be improbable, beautiful, and afraid of nothing. What lessons, even in the ashy city. I feel my heart, and afraid of nothing, I feel my heart. Thank you, everybody. We created something really, really beautiful.
And we want to thank you, Melissa, and thank you, everybody. I want to give ourselves a minute or two of silence just to breathe again, to feel, to allow to sink in the words and everything else that has passed before our eyes and through our hearts right now. and the enormity of it, and in the stillness. In this moment, you can remain silent. If you wish, you can put the name or names of the people that you are mourning into the chat ahead of our reciting Kaddish together, the mourner's Kaddish. So we'll be honoring all those people who we name and who we're holding in our hearts. If you want to type in a name, if you want to type in their relationship to you or an attribute of theirs, we'll take another few breaths to allow you to do that, and then recite the traditional centuries-old litany of sanctification of Kaddish together. Maybe because we're a small enough group, I'll read so everyone can also hear the names. Neil Ament, my dad, and his Stoke Level for Life. Jenny Feld, my mom, and Beverly Feld, my grandmother. Isaac, my friend who was like a brother. Marilyn Gleckman. Debbie Schlein.
It's supposed to be Schlein.
Marjorie Bloomfield, my mother. Steve, Marion, David, Harry, Annie, Philip, Chaya Elka, KK, Ben, Maria. My mother, Etta Phyllis Hinden. My father, Martin Hinden. My son, Michael Philip Shakora. My longtime companion pet, Lacey May. Beloved Margot Rivera Weiss. Michael Philip Klein. Diana Klein. Celia Klein. Sam Shasky. My beloved husband, Christopher, his vibrance and curiosity. All my aunts and uncles, all gone now. Magda Brown. Leif Osiris, Greening Hamlin, my 8-year-old red-haired son, March 23, 2011 to August 13, 2019. LWS, Neil and Barbara, taught love and gratefulness. Philip, beloved father of our children. And Franta Mayer, beloved mom and dad, and Gretchen. So we're going to recite the Mourner's Kaddish. Everyone who wishes to join along with me, feel free to do that, muted or unmuted. If we cancel each other out a little bit, that's okay, because our voices are all joining where they're joining. And Abra, I invite you to put the slide up again to make it easier for people to join in. Thank you. And for anyone who wishes to follow the custom and rise, if you're in a space to be able to do that comfortably, feel free. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehesh me Rabba Levorach Leolam U'almei Almaya. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה ואמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל
ועל כל יושבי תבל.
אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל.
ואמרו אמן.
Amen. May the source of peace bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all who mourn. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here tonight, for showing up and for opening your hearts and opening your minds and bringing your loved ones into this space with us. I know it can be really hard sometimes to show up, but we're really, really grateful that you did. And many thanks again to the Bay Area Jewish Healing Center for including the COVID Grief Network and all of us here this evening. Before we close and light the Hanukkah menorah with anyone who wishes to join in for candle lighting, I'll just mention that you can learn more about the COVID Grief Network at covidgriefnetwork.org. And I believe Avra is going to be putting in the chat links where if you feel moved to do so, you can make a contribution to either the Bay Area Jewish Healing Center or COVID Grief Network. And I believe December 28th at 4 p.m. is the next Azkarah service. And for a final parting greeting, I invite you to unmute yourselves and turn your camera on if it's not already, and consider putting one hand here on your chest or on your belly and the other hand outstretched on the screen, and offering a word of blessing to the community, such as goodbye or shalom aleichem.
You want to say shalom aleichem?
Shalom aleichem.
That's good. That's good.
Shalom aleichem.
Shalom aleichem.
Shalom aleichem.
Shalom, everyone.
Peace to you all.
Laila Tov.
Thank you to all who in that breakout room. It was really very meaningful time spent in that more intimate setting, as well as the full gathering. So thank you to all.
Thank you very much.
And
And may all the Michael Phillips
To all
Be
the
in-
Michael Phillips, yes.
be in peace.
To our sons and daughters.
I want to thank you, everyone, our partners, the COVID Grief Network and volunteer facilitators and closed captioner and tech, and everyone who brought a part of their heart and their grief today. I want to sing us out with a closing nigun, another wordless melody. It's a melody that has words, but I'm going to sing it without. And we'll leave you muted for that. So if you want, you can hum along with me. Feel free to do that and sign off when you're ready, or during the nigun. For those who want to stay around afterwards and light candles or be with us while we light the menorah together, feel free. And I'll quote a phrase from the Bible, L'chula Shalom. And whether you're staying with us for another couple of minutes or going on with your grief and with the season and into the rest of the night in the world, may you go on with an added measure of light and of comfort and shalom. Ya la 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 ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la. La 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 la. So I have a menorah here, and perhaps a few minutes ahead of schedule will light the shamash and then the candles for the third night of Hanukkah. And if you have your own menorah and want to light with us or want to join in the blessing over this one, feel free, whatever is comfortable for you. Yeah. The transliteration of the Hebrew blessings are in the chat. And I don't know if there's English there too. Yeah, there's English there too for each of the blessings. I'm going to chant the Hebrew blessing for lighting the candles, the mitzvah, lighting the candles. I'll read the English too. Feel free to join in. And then we'll chant the second blessing for Hanukkah as well. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Blessed are you, eternal source of light, bringing holiness into our lives through the mitzvah of kindling these Hanukkah lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu, bayamim ha'hem, ba'azman hazeh. Blessed are you, eternal one, who brought about miracles for our ancestors in their time of need in this very season. Chagurim Sameach. May there be some joy, some light throughout these nights of the festival for all of us. And joy, I will add, even if it is the joy of connecting with others in pain and in grief and in recognition. Shalom.
Thank you.